Hey friends, Jessica Lowell here. I am a wedding and portrait photographer in North Georgia, and today I want to chat about my favorite lens. That is the Canon RF 28-70. This guy is a beast. First off, I just want to start by saying I have a blog post from years ago where I talk about the EF 24-70 2.8 lens and how I shot my very first wedding with just this lens, and all of the many reasons why I believe this is the most important, most versatile lens you'll ever own. But when I switched last year, I upgraded. Both of my camera bodies are now Canon R6s. So when I shoot a session, whether it's a portrait session of some kind like maternity, engagement, senior, I shoot with two camera bodies and two lenses, and I leave my bag in the car and I don't take anything else with me. I'm able to do that because I do have the spider belt system. So I when I'm getting ready for a session, I'm at my car, I've just parked, I put my spider belt on, I put an R6 with the 70-200, and I put an R6 with this 28-70 on, and then I'm just ready for the day, and my hands are free. I'm not carrying anything around. I don't have to worry about leaving anything behind. It just makes for a nice flawless session when it comes to your gear and carrying things around. So the 28-70 I upgraded, let's see, I got this in the fall sometime, and let me tell you, I love this lens. Now, if you do go back and you read those old blog posts, you'll find out that my other most favorite lens is the 70-200, and that lens is a beast. And if you've ever seen me work or you've ever worked beside me, you'll see that I put the 70-200 on my camera body and shoot it a good portion of the day. I don't care how heavy that lens is. The EF version, I've been carrying it for years. I shoot almost all of my portraits with it. I shoot lots of my sessions because I just love the compression and the bokeh. So when I got this lens, it was noticeably heavier than the 70-200, but some things are just worth it. So grab a 15-pound barbell, do some workouts, and get used to carrying this lens. So let me tell you, so I shoot mostly weddings. So on a wedding day, I'm going to tell you how I use this lens. When I start out the wedding day, I start out with my flat lays and detail photos. I don't use this as much unless I just need a wider photo, but I usually do my flat lays and my rings with my 50mm 1.2 and my 100mm macro 2.8. But after that, those two lenses pretty much go away and they're never touched again for the rest of the day. In a getting ready space that can be dark, this aperture goes to 2.0, so you get so much more light, so much more bokeh. I don't always shoot wide open when there's lots of people in the room. It just depends. So of course you always want to watch your aperture if you're trying to get multiple people in focus during the getting ready space. However, the wideness of the 28 really allows you to get kind of a photojournalistic, what's going on when the girls are hanging out and they're laughing and they're drinking their mimosas. And then going into getting the bride dressed. So I used to use the 50 a lot to get the bride dressed unless I had a videographer with me. Because you know when you've got a videographer, you're sharing the space, and it's kind of hard to make sure you've got the videographer's arm not in the lens when you've got a prime lens, or not in the scene of your photo. When you've got a prime lens on, you've got to do a lot of moving, and sometimes there's not a lot of space to move. So that's why I love the zoom lens when I'm working with a videographer during the getting ready space, because I can just zoom in to crop him out if I don't have any room to move and we're sharing the space. And when you're sharing space with the videographer needs to move around to have fluid movement. Remember, we're both trying to do the same job. So I like to give the videographer room to move, and I'll stand stationary. I don't need to get a million pictures of the maid of honor strapping up the shoes, or, you know, handing her earrings or what have you. I can get my few shots and then move out of the way and let the videographer get in there and get movement and get laughter and get all the things. And I can stand in the background and get that and still crop him out because I have a zoom lens. So that is the benefit of having a zoom lens during the getting ready space. During bride and groom first look portraits, I used my 70-200, and during the ceremony, I used mostly my 70-200, but then right after the ceremony is the wedding, the family photos. family photos, zoom lens, wide lens, it just pays off, because you can have anywhere from just the bride and her father to the bride's entire family from all over the world. My largest family photo had 60, I think it was like 68 people in it. Thank God it was in a Catholic church, and they had stairs, but we lined them all up. I actually used my 16-28 for that one, but you have to have a wide option. The reason I used 16-28 for that one was because in order to try to cut out the wooden pews in the Catholic church, the wider was actually better, so I could get closer and still get wide. But that's the only time I've used my 16-28 on a family photo. However, again, 25 people in a family photo, this 28 is a great range. I used to use the 24-70 all the time, and I just upgraded. Then I'm kind of famous. I'm a little famous in my area for the veil in the wind shot. I have brides that will borrow a veil, buy a veil and never wear it, but they just want that photo where I've got them dipped and they're just barely kissing, and then we're throwing the veil and we're making magic happen. I do that with this lens. Every single one of my, until this past fall, actually every single one of those photos was with the 24-70. I shoot it at 2.8, I shoot it wide open. I get as far back as possible, and then I do zoom as far out as possible on my lens, just to ensure there's compression and bokeh and beautiful stuff in the background, but my couple is in focus. So if you want to know how to shoot a veil in the wind, shoot it wide open. Sorry, not wide open on this one. I don't shoot it at 2.0, somewhere between that and 2.8. But then I shoot it at 70. I make sure I get as much compression out of this lens as possible. And then during the reception. So I will say, this is my fastest lens. I've tried to shoot the reception with just the 50 before, but the 50 is slow to focus in the dark, even though I shoot with speed lights with flashes that have the infrared beam on them. I still had so much trouble. By the time my 50 would get an in-focus shot in the reception, the cool photo was gone, and people noticed I was shooting them, and they went from like dancing and having fun to perfectly posed, and that's no fun, especially not for the reception. So when I did upgrade to this lens, I think my first wedding reception, I very vividly remember it was so heavy my arms started shaking, and I took it off like halfway through the reception. I swapped it out with the original EF 24-70, and I actually did that for a couple of weddings until I just got used to carrying this big boy all day. This focuses way faster than the original 24-70. It's way crisper. Again, you get that extra 0.8 stop of aperture, which means more light. It's just so versatile. So if you have any questions specifically about the RF 28-70 2.0, this is one of my favorite lenses. Look at the glass on that. It is absolutely beautiful. I believe it is the first 2.0 lens of its kind in a zoom. And so Canon really, you know, they pulled out all the stops on this one, and I'm really excited. Actually, wouldn't it be amazing if there's a 70-200 2.0? Like, I would sell everything. Like, I wouldn't need any other lens ever again. Not true, I need my macro lens. But I love that lens. So whether you're looking to upgrade, if you can afford it, because it is a very expensive lens. If you shoot weddings, it eventually pays for itself easy. If you're looking to upgrade and you can afford it, I highly recommend renting it first, so you'll see. You will absolutely fall in love with it. The other thing is if you can't afford that yet, but you're just here because you're looking for what kind of lenses you need in your bag, whether you are starting family portraits or starting a business, starting from scratch, or you're getting into weddings, or maybe you've got a wedding coming up and you don't know what to do. This is the single most versatile lens, either one of these. So if you're looking to buy and you don't have a huge budget, I definitely would not buy this EF 24-70 brand new. And here's why. Because lots of people are upgrading that have had this one, that want this one, and they're selling these. I sold mine in a local photographers group. My husband used to shoot with me full time, so we have two of everything. But I sold my main 24-70 in a local photographers group. It sold in like less than 20 minutes as soon as I posted it. So you're gonna find a great used 24 to 72.f 2 version. Don't forget there's a 2 version, there's a 1 and a 2 version. Get on eBay, get in your local photographer groups, start searching. If you can't afford this yet and you're new, but you want the versatility, buy one of these used. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I will totally answer them. My next video that I will post will be on the new RF 70 to 200. Oh, she's a dream. And if you want on the insiders list to be the first to know about that, you'll want to go ahead and grab my freebie. I have a posing guide. I will link it below. It's my free favorite posing and prompts that I use in almost every session with my couples, and that will put you on my email list. So you'll be the first to know when I post new YouTube videos, which will be every Tuesday. You definitely want to hit the subscribe button. And then I have another great photographer resource coming out middle of this year. And if you want to be the first to know about sales, if you're struggling with sales, you definitely want to be on my insiders list. Thank you and have a blessed day.